Welcome back to Brands Hatch and the third meeting of the year for the GT Cup Championship. We're midway through the second of 3 races this weekend, and it's Jordan Witt who won the first race and leads the second as he comes through to complete another lap on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. He's just ahead of Derek Johnson in second position, although Derek has been chasing him all the way. There he is in his Ferrari 458 at Chevron, though leading in the hands of Jordan Witt. Here's a brilliant battle going a little bit lower down the field though, which is between Chris Bentley in the black and red Porsche and the race leader Jordan Witt's father David in the diminutive Chevron. And David Witt has been trying to get past Chris Bentley for the past couple of laps. He draws alongside him into Paddock Hill Bend, but Chris able to brake just late enough through Paddock, but it's David Witt who's got the inside line up the hill towards Druids, but Chris Bentley able to cover the line just in time. So the Chevron continues to try and find its way past the Porsche. At the moment struggling as they then head down the hill into Graham Hill Bend, where Chris Bentley is able to take his racing line. Bentley, a real stalwart of the GT Cup Championship. He's been a competitor for several seasons, also raced in the GT Trophy races last year with a reasonable degree of success, and so it is always good to see Chris on the grid, and he's been getting quicker and quicker as well over the years. He thoroughly enjoys his racing. It's always a beautifully turned out car, and as David Witt is finding, he's a pretty tough driver to get past, because again David Witt gets the run onto the Bradman straight. Now will he be able to find a way past Chris Bentley? Here he draws alongside. What a shot that is. You can see just how low lying the Chevron is. The roof coming up pretty much the bottom of the window of the Porsche. They climb the hill towards Druids once more, and Chris Bentley is showing just how wide you can drive a Porsche if you feel like it, because he holds the inside line. He's making David Witt do this the very, very hard way and try and drive around him. At the moment though, David is unable to do that, so again he sets up on this run along the Cooper Straight through Surtees, but it's really the run through Clearways where David Witt is so much stronger than Chris Bentley, and that propels him then along the Bradman Straight. So will we see the run this time round as David Witt takes the tight line, plants his right foot, accelerates, draws alongside as another battle goes on further back, and this is for fourth in the race. It's between Pete Smallwood, who leads Group 2 in the Porsche, and then the big Group 1 Moser of Dave Shelton. And Dave closing in onto the tail of Pete Smallwood. Pete Smallwood, like the race leader Jordan Witt, carrying a fair degree of success ballast following his group triumph in the earlier race, whereas Dave Shelton unencumbered by success ballast, so he, in the Mosler, is going to be maybe a little bit more agile than the Porsche will feel through the corners. And as a result, Pete Smallwood is under all sorts of pressure from Dave Shelton in the Mosler. On to complete another lap, the pair of them come, and Shelton will be looking to plant his right foot, wind up the big Mosler, and try and draw alongside the Porsche of Pete Smallwood, and he's certainly closing on him here along the Bradman Straight. The gap between them comes down to about a car length as they reach the braking zone for Paddock Hill Bend. Through the right hand they go, and Dave Shelton looking much more confident than he did in race, when he really is becoming very well acquainted once more with this motor as he closes in onto the tail of Pete Smallwood up towards Druids. Smallwood a little bit wide through the apex as we go back to the David Witt and Chris Bentley battle. It's still as we were, with David getting to know the rear spoiler of Chris Bentley's Porsche now very, very well, because he's been behind him for several laps and he can't find a way through. Although this could be an opening here, because Chris Bentley runs a little bit wide at Druids, down towards Graham Hill Bend they come, but no, David Witt just couldn't quite find the daylight on the inside into Graham Hill Bend. He also looks to the inside towards Surtees as well, but again no way through there. The Porsche has always just got enough in its pocket to be able to withstand the challenge of David Witt, but we're heading now towards the closing stage of this race, so David Witt's going to make his move. He's going to have to do it in the next couple of laps, but this could be the one, because he's got a super run through Clark Curve, as again Dave Shelton and Pete Smallwood continue their battle. Pete taking a leaf out of the Chris Bentley school of driving, which is how to drive a very wide Porsche, but no, this time no way through there for David Witt. He had the run onto the straight, but as they reach Paddock Hill Bend he just wasn't quite close enough, so it's on to another lap and an opportunity to reformulate his attack. Pete Smallwood still ahead of Dave Shelton, but the pair of them about to be lapped here by the race leader Jordan Witt. Now this could be very interesting. Dave moving to the inside onto the Bradman Straight, and then moves across into the path of Jordan Witt. I don't know whether he quite saw Jordan Witt there, and so Jordan Witt unable to get through past Dave Shelton as they turn then through Paddock Hill Bend, and all the while Dave has been closing up onto Taylor Pete Smallwood. It's going to be very, very tight up towards Druids, because Shelton looks to the inside of Pete Smallwood and Jordan Witt is trying to pick his way through this lot as well. So it's side by side for fourth position, with the race leader trying to get past it. Are we going to be three abreast into Druids? Up the inside goes Jordan Witt on Pete Smallwood, who also got passed by Dave Shelton. So losing 2 places in one, well, 2 positions on the track in one fell swoop there, Pete Smallwood. But more importantly, he is demoted in the race overall by Dave Shelton as they came out of Druids. Now, will Small be able to find a way back through? I rather doubt it, because I suspect that Moser has got the legs in a straight line and then is wide enough through the corners to withstand the challenge from the Porsche. Well, we'll find out in the next couple of laps, as Jordan Witt has been able to put those 2 cars between himself and the man second place in the race, Derek Johnson, who has been keeping him, though, very honest for the duration. Pete Smallwood politely moves aside through Paddock Hill Bend, so that's 1 car cleared from Derek, as Peter Rowbottom going very well in 7th position. And Peter, he's had all sorts of problems in practice with gearbox issues. That car is always ongoing in its development, and Peter working very, very hard, and it's getting more and more competitive with each appearance. As we now return then to this battle, Chris Bentley still leading it just from a very feisty David Witt, who again gets a good run, and this time he puts his nose in front of Chris Bentley as they come along the Rambton Straight. They're side by side as they come through to complete the lap, and this is David Witt's best opportunity. If he can get the braking just right here, he's going to be through. He is through into Paddock Hill Bend, but the rear of the car slides. Oh, he goes around and into the gravel, and David Witt, that was such a valiant pursuit. It was a brilliant move, and unfortunately it ends in the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend, and he looks to be beat. He spins the rear tyres, and there's no way out of there. So disappointment for Father David. Delight, though, for Jordan Witt, because he turns through clearways for the final time, accelerating along the Rambton Straight, and this is going to make it 2 wins from 2 here at Brands Hatch in the GT Cup Championship for Jordan Witt. He takes the checkered flag. Well, it's 2 wins. What can he do in race 3? We'll find out very, very shortly, with then second place going the way of Derek Johnson. Hands out to the cockpit, waving to the crowd, then delight from Jordan Witt after a fine performance. So it's Witt who wins it, Derek Johnson second, Kevin Riley completes the podium, Peter Smallwood wins Group 2, and Chris Bentley Group 3.
Well, Jordan, fantastic. Another great result and another win overall for the Chevron.
Yeah, it was, you know, hard work again paying off, so pleased with the result. The race kept nice and clean all the way through, so I'm just happy with the win again.
Really hurting carrying 55 kilos of ballast. Even on new tyres it was really tough, and the car was pushing out all over the place. But yeah, more points, and we'll see where we go with the championship. I guess you're right. Let's see if we can make it a hat-trick, and that'll be really good.
Well, can Jordan Witt make it a hat-trick? He starts in pole position for race 3 with Derek Johnson alongside him on the front row of the grid. Pete Smallwood heads up Group 2, he is 5th, and Chris Bentley, top of the Group 3 runners, in 7th position. Rolling start as ever in the GT Cup Championship, and will Jordan Witt make the jump, or will Derek Johnson be able to match him? We'll find out as away they go. The Rolling Thunder underway for the 3rd and final time here at Brands Hatch, and Johnson again trying to really hassle Jordan Witt in the early stage. He's got the inside line this time, climbing up towards Druids, and is Derek Johnson going to go through? He does! So Johnson takes the lead of the race. Now, will he be able to withstand the challenge from Jordan Witt? Because Derek Johnson's been looking all weekend to get this early drop on the Chevron and then be able to try and hold him off. But he's done the first bit, he's got the lead. Now, can he keep Jordan Witt behind him? They've already opened up a gap to Kevin Riley in 3rd position. In the first of the Mosers, he's got Dave Shelton for company as Derek Johnson leads the way, turning through clearways for the first time and then accelerating out the Clark Curve and on to the Rambton Straight. And Johnson, this is looking quite nice for the Ferrari, isn't it? Because he's already got 5 or 6 car laps then over the Chevron of Jordan Witt. Then the 2 Mosers with Pete Smallwood. He is on course for that hat-trick in Group 2. He comfortably leads the group. He's actually, if anything, resuming the battle that he left off from in race 2 with Dave Shelton, the Moser, the pair of them, then climbing up the hill towards Druids. Smallwood all over the tail of the Moser, coming out of the hairpin down towards Graham Hill Bend. Although Dave Shelton, very experienced driver, knows how to drive a wide car, so it's not going to be easy here for Pete Smallwood to get through. And again, he's carrying that success ballast in this race as the leaders are very close together. And now Jordan Witt really pressurising Derek Johnson as they arrive in towards Paddock Hill Bend. And Johnson, having opened up that early advantage, has now got the Chevron crawling all over his tail, although Johnson carries a lot of speed through Paddock. Up the hill then towards Druids. Through the hairpin, Johnson, though, hugs the inside line. No way through there for Jordan Witt, but he tries to draw alongside on the way down towards Graham Hill Bend as Jordan Witt's father, David, a very smoky car. He's going to pull off at Druids, unfortunately. Great shame for him. Now, Jordan Witt, we saw him starting the move. Has he completed it? Yes, he has. Through into Surtees he goes, in to lead the race. Well done to Jordan Witt. That was a very nicely judged move, and a typical Brands Hatch move, set up really a couple of corners before it actually delivered. And so Jordan Witt, after a couple of laps time, Derek Johnson finds his way through as Chris Bentley and Peter Rowbottom engage in battle up the hill towards Druids. This, again, a stronger showing still from Peter. That car gets better and better with every race, and is now really hassling the Porsche of Chris Bentley as they come out of Druids and through Graham Hill Bend. Can Peter find a way past into Surtees? Not quite. Well, he's up onto his tail, Dave Shelton. Then in fourth position, he's been able to pull clear of Pete Small. We caught a glimpse of it in the background, but he's also got a little bit of daylight between himself and Kevin Riley, who's currently in third position, but it's an immaculately turned out car. Mosler of Dave Shelton. Hope to see that again later in the season. Here is Kevin Riley then putting a lap on Chris Bentley, runs in third position as he breaks into Paddock Hill Bend, and wow, that's a very big puff of smoke. Now, has he blown up there, Kevin Riley? No, he hasn't. It's still going at full speed, but there was a huge amount of smoke that came from the rear and again from the Mosler. Let's see if he can make it to the flag, which is not too far away, because through clearways then for the final time to make it a clean sweep at Brands Hatch in the GT Cup Championship is Jordan Witt. He accelerates out of Clark Curve along the Bradman Straight. The checker flag goes out and Jordan Witt takes the win. Absolutely emphatic victory and a dominant weekend from Jordan Witt. He really has been the man to beat. The Chevron has performed beautifully, so has Jordan. So it is Witt who wins race 3 from Derek Johnson and Kevin Riley completing the podium. Pete Smallwood wins Group 2 in 5th and Chris Bentley 6th, claiming Group 3.
Well, that's it for another great weekend of racing for the GT Cup Championship. Of course, we've had 3 busy races and we've seen another 9 group winners taking home a trophy and, of course, more valuable championship points. Next time out, the championship heads to Snetterton to take on the challenging 300 circuits. You can join us on the 20th of July to see all the highlights right here on Motors TV. But until then, it's goodbye.